Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and I hope you've had a marvellous Christmas so far, including obviously Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, which are over. Today is Boxing Day here in the UK and another holiday. Right, I am going to look at the Discord server's Secret Santa. Now, every year for the past number of years, on the Discord server associated with our channel, which is not run by us, but is run by some wonderful volunteers, Punching Cato, aka Priam, has compared a Secret Santa under which dozens of members of the server write in and volunteer to be part of the Secret Santa, and they all give and receive the gift of a Sudoku or a puzzle or a number of puzzles sometimes. But what you're invited to do is to say something about what sort of puzzle you prefer, and then your Secret Santa gets to read that and has a couple of weeks or so to prepare a puzzle for your Christmas present, and then on Christmas Day that gets sent to you. And this, I took part this year. I didn't take part last year, but I did take part the previous couple. It's not being run by Priam anymore. It's run by, I think, Wessel Strijkstra this year, who is a marvellous person. And goodness knows how much admin there is involved in that. I mean, given the level of incompetence of people like me dealing with the Secret Santa bot, I imagine there's a fair amount of intervention. But it all seemed to work very smoothly from my end this year. And I was able to donate a puzzle to Skojo. So if you go to the Secret Santa Showcase, if you're available to see the Secret Santa Showcase section, you can see the puzzle that was given to Skojo. That was actually by me. And I received in return a fog puzzle from person unknown. So for once I'm unable to say if this is a channel debut, if it's by a very well-known setter or anything like that. All I know is that I received this puzzle. So my Secret Santa said that they knew I liked sandwich puzzles, and they'd come up with a fog variant of sort of internal sandwiches, and they're called hidden sandwiches. And I will go through the rules in a minute and try and solve the puzzle. And you may think that it is a, it is a very lucky way maybe for somebody to get featured on the channel if they happen to get selected as the Secret Santa for me. I have no reason to suspect that that is not an entirely fair and impartial draw. I have no idea how it works. I'm not involved. But this is the puzzle I received, and I am going to try and solve it on the channel and try and make this into a video for Boxing Day. We've got boxes in the grid, so that's good. We'll look at that in a moment. And first of all, now Wessel Strijkstra is marvellous, as I say, and a major contributor to our apps, especially our very approachable Sudoku app. Do check it out. It's one of our more recent ones. There is, of course, also a Fog of War Sudoku app, which is relevant to today's and is our most recent app and doing very well. Make a great post-Christmas present for your loved one or for yourself. So check out the apps. The Discord server, obviously, this is a great plug for, because this is one of the things that happen on it. You can post your own puzzles for testing and discuss other people's posts. It's not all about puzzles. Well, it is all about puzzles to an extent, but there's all kinds of chat channels on Discord. Just check it out. There's loads of stuff. And there is a link under the video so that you could join. We've also got, of course, our Patreon, and it's just a few days before Blobs' brilliant Lord of the Rings puzzle hunt gets released on that as a competition for January. 19 puzzles, 20 days to take part. So you just have to trog along at a puzzle a day, if you like. Now, what else have we got? That's Patreon. There's loads of other content there as well. There's also, of course, our merchandise, SVEN'S SUDOku PAD. Do check it all out. It's great stuff. And let's get to the rules of Hidden Sandwiches by Secret Santa. And the rules are these. So normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 will go in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Fog is present in the grid, and placing correct digits will clear the fog from surrounding cells. Now, there are some red cages and blue cages in the grid, and the number in the corner of a red cage, like 25 up here, if given, indicates that the sum of the digits sandwiched between 1 and 9 in that row, well, it's giving what that sum of the digits is. So between the 1 and the 9 in this row, the digits add up to 25. In this row, they add up to 12. In this row, they add up to 24. The digit in a cage indicates how many digits, including the crust of 1 and 9, the corresponding sandwich sum contains. So I guess if we had a 6 in this cage, the 1 and the 9 might be the sandwich crusts, and the 4 cells in between that would add up to 24 bring that total to 6. Is that right? It feels right. Now, there are also some blue cages in the grid, and they are applying to the columns. They're doing exactly the same job for the columns. So those are the rules. They're quite understandable. I have never seen rules like that before. I'm fascinated to learn how they will operate, indeed how we can clear any fog at all, but I'm going to give it a go. Do try it on the first link under the video. I actually might post a link to the puzzle I sent to Skojo, so you don't have to go looking in the Discord server. It may be a little way down the description field. I don't know. Anyway, let's have a Merry Christmas. Let's get... Oh, nearly pressed the wrong button. Let's get cracking. Okay, so 25, 12, and 24. So how many sandwiches make up the crust of 20? How many digits make up the sandwich of 25? Well, you can't use 1 or 9 because they are in the crusts. You could use 8, 7, 6. That adds up to 21. You must have one other digit, which could be a 4. So 4 is the minimum number of sandwiched cells, which would give us a number of 6 in this cage, because those 4 plus the 2 crusts, the 1 and the 9, is 6. Now you can't take this number up to 8, because that would mean 25 plus the 1 and the 9 is 35. The only other remaining cell in the row would have to add to 10, because I know a secret about every row, column and box in a Sudoku, that every one of them adds up to 45. So using that, we can see that this is a 6 or a 7. Now, 24, I think, is effectively the same number as far as that goes. Just working it out again. 8, 7, 6, 3, for instance, could be a 4-cell sandwich, which would put 6 in this cage. And again, it can't go up as far as 8, because then 1 cell would have to add to 11. So we've got a 6-7 pair. I don't know how to disambiguate those. I don't think there is a substantive difference between 25 and 24. Let's think about the 12 cage. So 12 can be made up of 2 digits, which could be 4, 8 or 5, 7, or 3 digits, but we can't use the 1, remember, because that's in a crust. So 2, 3, 7, 2, 4, 6, 3, 4, 5, they're all possible. We can't go up to 4. So the sandwich is 2 or 3 digits, plus 2 for the crusts gives us 4 or 5 for the cage. And this is the point at which we go, well, how are we ever going to clear any fog? Right. What I like to do in a sandwich puzzle is colour cells green that can't be 1 or 9. And then the crusts I will try and make red. Now, we know these are green, definitely. So where are the crusts? There are at least 4 cells in this row that are sandwiched. So they must include those 2. If you put the 4 as far to the right as you could, they'd be there. As far to the left, they'd be there. So that same applies to row 3. And then in row 2, we've got 2 or 3 cells in the sandwich. Ah, here it is. Look. There's 1 crust over this side, there's 1 crust over this side, but in each box of the Sudoku there's only two digits that can be crusts, that can be 1 or 9. So those are not crusts. Those are therefore green cells, and then the two crusts, one of them is in those cells, one of them is in those cells. This is for row 2. That is a sandwiched cell. And how do we ever disambiguate between rows 1 and 3? I'm still not sure about that. Or do we have to think about, yes, we do have to think about the numbers. Okay, I've got it, I think. 25 is not going to be a 4-cell sandwich. Right, okay, one of these is a sandwich digit, and one of these two is a crust. One of those is a crust. One of these two is a crust. And that means in that row, the sandwich is 4 cells. Because once you put a crust there, the other crust's there. The sandwich is 4 cells, either there or there. Now, I think we can rule that happening out of the top row because 25 is different from 24 in this respect. If you were trying to do 25 in 4 cells, it is 8, 7, 6, 4. That's the only way to do it. And that breaks row 1, column 1, if you were to put them there, because it uses up 7 and 6 in the row, and there's nothing left there. You have to be able to make up the sandwich in 4 cells without using both 7 and 6. So 24 must be amenable to that. 8, 7, 5, 4, I suspect that's going to do it. It is. That adds up to 24. 8, 7, 5, 4 is the sandwich. We know there are definitely crusts here. Still haven't got a single digit or cleared any fog. Never mind about that. I now know that this is a 6 because those are six cells, 6 digits. So that's a 6. This is now a 7, and therefore there are 5 sandwiched cells in this row. And I think these 4 all go green as a result. Yeah, they do. And there is a crust in one of those two, just as there is a crust in one of those two. Oh, and the outies in row 1 are going to add up to 45 minus 25 minus 10. 45 being the sum of the row, 25 being the sum of the sandwich, 10 being the sum of the crusts. So the outies add up to 10, and they clearly include a 7 now. So the other outies, the other outie, singular, is a 3 in one of those cells. And these two are a 1-9 pair. These two are a 2-3 pair. And that rules 3 out of this cell. So that, oh, Christmas 3. No, what have we got? Oh yeah, it is, we had the Christmas snow there. But we've also got a little party. I'm not, that's probably not from Sven. That's probably from Secret Santa, I think. So that's the crust. That's, oh, what am I doing? I'm trying to get rid of the white. Those are the crusts. This isn't. That is sandwich. These are the 1-9 pair. These are 2, 4, 5, 6, 8. I thought this was going to get easier once we got these. I'm not really seeing what to do. 2, 4, 5, 6, 8. Okay, what are the crusts? No. What are the sandwiches? I haven't found any more cages. 6, 2, 3, 7. One of these is a crust. I mean, I've known that for a long time. It could still be there though, and it could be a 3-cell sandwich. Maybe that's the point. If this was a crust. Oh, lovely. If this was a crust, where would 3 go in this row? If this was a crust, those two would add up to 12. There'd be either 4, 8 or 5, 7. Those two would be crusts, 1 and 9. Where would 3 go in the row? It can't go in that box, and it can't go there. So that is not a crust. This is a crust and is a 1 or a 9. These digits are from 4, 5, 8. This is part of the sandwich. Is 3 in the sandwich? Either 3 is in a 3, 4, 5 sandwich. No, that would break the 12 cage. Yeah, okay, the point in this row, I think now, is that 4, 5 and 8 cannot go with 3 in the sandwich. If they did, it would be either 3, 4, 5, it couldn't be 3, 8, 1. And 3, 4, 5 as a sandwich would break that cell. So it's a 2-cell sandwich. That's the other crust. This is where 3 goes now, I reckon, in the row. Oh yes, and that clears some old fog. Right, got it. That's how we begin. That's a very, very clever beginning. I think we're looking at a fairly experienced setter here, is what I would say. Now, we've got these 2 new cages, and let me just, 4 and 5 have definitely been used up. Okay, 2 and 6 have not appeared in the row, so they'll be in those cells. 2, 4, 5, 6, 8. So 2 and 6 will be in these cells as well. Now that's quite interesting, because there's no way 2 is going in either of these cages, because that would imply that in that column, the 2 was 2 crusts next to each other with a sandwich total of 0. But you'll agree with me, I think, that 16 and 17 are not 0. So I'm putting 2 in there. One of these is 6 with a 4-cell sandwich. Now in a 16 cage, that would be 2, 3, 4, 7, or 2, 3, 5, 6. It wouldn't be allowed to be 2, 3, 5, 6 because of the 6 having been used up. But annoyingly, there are 2 possibilities even for 16, so I suspect there are more for 17. Although actually in this column, the 3 has been used. This is probably what I've got to think about. So if 17 had a 6 in the cage here, and therefore a 4-cell sandwich that wasn't allowed to use 3, 2, 4, 5, 6 adds to 17, but that would use the 6 from the column, so 6 couldn't be here. So actually that can't be a 6, that is the 6. In this column we have a 4-cell sandwich, and therefore 6 cells used in making the sandwich. I had a very good leftover turkey and ham sandwich this morning, you'll be thrilled to know. Now the 17, well you see this is interesting, because by Sudoku I can't use a 6 or a 7. But the length of the sandwich in this column is bounded at 6 at the maximum, because it can only fit into those cells. So this is, I'm going to say it can't be 4, because that would only have 2 sandwich cells, and they could only add up by being 8 and 7 to 15. So this is definitely a 5. And these 2 are in that sandwich, and the crusts, one is there and one is down here. Those are green, by the way. And now we use the sum, don't we? We've got 3 cells to add to 17 that don't include... No, we do Sudoku first. Take 5 out of those cells. We've got 4, 7, 8 triple going. No, maybe we don't do Sudoku yet. Oh, it's these ones, isn't it? There was going to be only one way of getting to 16 in 4 cells without using a 6. And that is 2, 3, 4, 7. So these are 2, 3, 4, 7, obviously flanked by 1 and 9. Then we've got a 5, 8 pair at the bottom. Oh, what does that do? Where does 8 go in this column? One of those cells? But it could be in the sandwich, or it could be outside it. Well, could it be outside it? What are the outies in this column? We've got 17 in the sandwich, 10 in the crust. That's 27. The column adds up to 45, so that leaves 18, of which we've got 8 there, another 10 to come. It can't be 3 cells, because even if that was a 4, the other 2 would have to be 2 and a 4. Oh, well, sorry, I know the length of the sandwich. So there's one more outie in this column. That can't be a 7. And the outie, the remaining outie is a 6 or a 2, but I don't know whether it goes there or there. Okay, Sudoku again. 4 and 8 in the top row have to go in those cells. This pair, has this got resolved? Really not? Actually, oh, I was going to say, do these have to have a 5 or a 7 in? Oh, we know what this number is because the sandwich length has been determined here. Sorry. It's clearly 4 cells, so that's a 4. Oh, that's quite big. Then I can put 5 and 7 in the sandwich by Sudoku. That's an 8, that's a 4. Ah, this was easier than I was thinking. But you have to just remember what you're doing all the time with every bit of the logic and every bit of the rules. Okay, this group of cells is 2, 6, 8. There is no 8 or 4 in those two. That's a 5, 7 pair. That's a 4, that's an 8. There's no 4 in this group of cells. Okay, now the other outie in this column is a 2, and now it can't go in this box along with the 2, 3, 7. So it goes down here. And that's green, and these two are red, and that's green. And I'm hitting the wrong buttons. That's a 1, 9 pair. The innies, the sandwich sums are 4, sandwich digits are 4, 6, 7. 7 can't go in box 5 along with the 7 in that group. I know I've revealed a new cage. I will look at that in a moment. 2, 3, 7, 4, 6. Well, I will look at it now. Right, 14 is the sandwich sum in this column. We've already used a 4, so the digit that goes in here, I think it's going to have to be a 5. You can make up 14. Oh no. Well, okay, yes. You could only make it up in 6 cells if you used 2, 3, 4, 5 as the sandwich and 1, 9 as the crusts. But we've used 4 in the column. So this is a 5 now, indicating that the sandwich, is that 5 actually in the sandwich? Yes, it is, because otherwise the sandwich would have to have crusts there and there, and it's not long enough. So that is a crust. This is in the sandwich. We know its length because of that digit. That's green. Now by Sudoku, I've revealed another cage. We'll get to that in a moment. We get 7 and 5. We get 8 and 5 there. This is a 3, 4, 6 triple. How are we going to ever disambiguate the 1s and 9s? I don't know yet. I expect we'll find out. Now, okay, this 22 cage. Right, there's one crust. 22 is at least 8, 7, 6 and another digit. Well, it wouldn't be those digits, but it's at least 4 digits, making this digit at least 6. So I'm going to write in 6 or 7. If it was 7 digits involved in the sandwich, which would add up to 22, plus the crusts of 10 is 32, plus that 7, then the only outie, no, the only other outie, hang on, the crust would be there, those would add up to 22, so you'd have 32 here, plus the 7 is 39, that would be a 6. And if that was a 6, that would be the crust. These would add up to 32, plus the 6 is 38. These two would add up to 7. They couldn't be 5, 2 or 6, 1. They would be 3 and 4. Oh, I don't know how that works. Okay, I'm coming back here first. I think I proved 6 is in one of those cells, but I'm not so sure about that I'm marking it up. What I'm going to do is add up these two. We've got a sandwich sum of 14. They add up to 9. They're not 5, 4 or 7, 2 or 1, 8. They're a 3, 6 pair. That is 2 or 8, and that is also 2 or 8. That doesn't give me any more than that, does it? Okay, I am going to have to think about this 22. Ah, right. If what I was thinking was correct and 6 has to be in one of these. So the reason I said that was if this is a 6, obviously it's a 6. If it's a 7, sorry, I mean knowledge bomb. If it's a 7, that's the crust. This lot adds up to 32. With a 7 there, we've got 39, and that is a 6. So one of those two is a 6. By Sudoku, that's a 3 now. and that's a 6, and that fixes 4 and 6 there. And 6 is going to be in one of those cells. Never be afraid to do a bit more Sudoku. 5 is going to be in one of those two. Okay, so if we had, that has ruled out 4, 3 as a pair. If that was a 6, I decided this pair couldn't be 6, 1 or 5, 2. I now know it couldn't be 4, 3, so that is a 7. Ooh, question mark. That wasn't mentioned in the rules. I'm going to have to assume that can be any sum at all. This is a 6. They are green. This is red because we're counting. That is 1 or 9. These are all green. 6 says it's not in that cell, so 6 in the box is there. We don't... Oh, we do have... I mean, I can't even assume that the question mark is not 0. It could be anything. But it's... Yes. The question mark is maybe not the question. The question is, what number goes in the cage to show how many digits are included in the sandwich? Right, these are green, so the maximum length of sandwich is 4. So I'm going to say this is 2 or 4 at the moment, and that's also going to turn this cell green because the sandwich length can't be 3 because we've already had 3 in the column. Now, this might actually be one of the points at which, I'm just going to do Sudoku, one of the points at which I now have to start thinking about the 1s and the 9s, the crusts, because I don't know how to disambiguate them, but I do know that they're going to differ from each other. So let's mark them up with orange and light blue and distinguish those. So that's orange in the same box, that's blue in the same row, that's orange in the same box, that's blue in the same row, that's blue in the same column as an orange, that's orange in the same box as a blue, blue in the same row as orange, orange in the same box as blue, and bingo, look at that, that's beautiful, beautiful setting. Orange and blue are both looking at that cell, so it can't be either of the 1 9s. And now I learn that this is a 4 down here. That's really clever. That is the red and orange cell. That's now an 8 by Sudoku. That's a 2. This is a 5, 7 pair. One of them's still foggy, which is a bit bizarre. Now, Sudoku or something. That's not a 4. This is not a 6. Chocolate teapot triple. Oh, we got a new, look at that, we got a new question mark cage for the across. It's got a red, sorry, if I remove the colouring for a while, you can see the red border there. So this is counting the length of the sandwich in this row. Again, we're not told the total. Oh, the question mark there would have been a 12 for what it's worth. So question mark's obviously not just a single digit. I might add to the rules when I put them in the description field that question mark can represent any number at all. Anyway, in this row, so we've got at least 6 cells in the sandwich. Oh, and that's 1 or 9. This is what's disambiguating it. So that's a 9, which puts the 1 over here. What I'm now going to do is remove the red from those cells, because I can now just highlight all the orange ones and make them 9s, and highlight all the light blue ones and make them 1s. And let's go back to red for those ones, just for the colour. There we go. So now I'm doing red and orange as the crusts. Now, this has reminded me that, yeah, I got into trouble on Christmas Eve. I made a false assumption. I'm going to go back to that puzzle at the end of this and look at Xmas by James Copp and what I did wrong in it. Yeah, I am. Right, 4, 3, 6, 2, 7, 9. This is a 1, 5, 8 triple, and the 1 must go there. And that's red in my scheme, and now I've got a 20 sandwich that I didn't even notice here. If it was 7, those add up to 30, Yeah, that will work. 37, and that would be an 8, 45. But if that was only 5, there'd be a 9 here. These would add up to 30, plus 5 there is 35. These would have to add up to 10. But they wouldn't be allowed to use 1 or 5, and that can't be done, because if you don't use a 1 in 3 digits adding up to 10, it's 2, 3, 5. So that is a 7. This is red and a 9. Not red, orange now. Now I can put in the last orange and the last red just by Sudoku, which is nice. And they're correct because they're clearing fog. Now the total here is 20. So they're 20 plus the 1 and the 9 is 30 plus the 7 is 37. That's an 8. And I think this is going to pretty much get things done. We've got 3 and a 4 to put in there. Lovely puzzle, this. Absolutely the standard I wanted, which is really nice, if I may say so. 5 and 8 there. 7, 4, 6 now. There's probably a naked single, and it's another 3 in the corner. Are we going to get the little party hat? Yay! That's 3 in the corner, and it's oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree. How lovely are your branches. Now I could colour all the remaining cells green, but in fact I think what I will do is get rid of all the green. We've done the crusts. In fact, we've cleared all the fog. We're not going to get any more clues. I think it's Sudoku from here to the finish. It's over bar the shouting, which you've probably been doing at the screen when I was missing something. And I'm always fascinated to learn what people were shouting at, because I don't know what it was, because I couldn't hear you. 6, 3, 4. Okay, they're all done. Now let's look down the columns. 6 is placed there. 9 is definitely not there. Down this column, 2, 3, and 7. That's 2 or 3, so that's the 7. That fixes box 5. If I pencil mark that correctly, 3, 2, 3, 2, 4, and 5 to finish. And there we go. We have revealed the hidden sandwiches. I am solve counter number 1. Excellent. And thank you very much to my Secret Santa. I am delighted to have been your Secret Santee. Now, very good puzzle. Really enjoyable. I hope you had fun with that one. I bet you did. I am going back to Xmas by James Copp, and I went off on one here. So I got to this point in the puzzle, and I made some absolutely fatuous deduction about how this digit was red, which was not valid. And Roman Pear posted a really useful comment which gave a very simple way forward from this point that I should have seen and didn't see because I made a false assumption that turned out to have the correct effect. And anybody can do that at any point in the puzzle. Even you people who complain that I make this happen sometimes, it might happen to you sometimes too. Anyway, what Roman Pear said I should have done, and he's quite right, is considered if this was an 8, this group of blue cells adding up to the same total as 8 would, they're not allowed to include 4 or 6. They would have to be 1, 2, 5. That would make this cell a 3, but that would make this an 8, and then 8 would be red. That can't be red because it's in a row with red already. So that is not 8, that is therefore 9. And the puzzle then proceeds from that point. You can make that 8 and that 9. And this was partly, I got into this because I was doing a color scheme that was mixing different colors. So I had been using orange for high digits, but then I had been trying to identify high digits as either red, yellow, or green for 7, 8, or 9. And that was what led me astray. And I'm frankly very grateful to Roman for pointing out how I should have been moving forward at that point. You can now see here that that's yellow and that's, I mean, I don't know quite what you do going forward because I can't remember the puzzle that well, but He was absolutely right. Oh, these add up to 9 now. You're still not allowed to use 4. And you can't use 6. That was it. So they must be 1, 3, 5, and that must be a 2. There are various ways forward after that, and they were not what I found, because I went off on a faulty branch and ended up with the correct solution. So I didn't spot that I'd gone wrong. But thank you to those who pointed out that I had, and thank you especially to Roman Pear for pointing out a very neat way past that. But that was not today's puzzle, that was 2 days ago, and thank you for both bearing with me when that happened and for allowing me to post a pre-record yesterday on Christmas Day. But this is actually Boxing Day here in Britain today, and we managed to populate the 8 Christmas boxes that 10 Christmas boxes that we were given in this puzzle. Thank you very much to Secret Santa. Please reveal yourself in the comments if you choose. And a pleasure to have received that. I will see you again soon. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.